Today, I am previewing the South Carolina Gamecocks 2025 football season. I'm going to try to leave this out of it, but all right. I'm just going to dive right in. They're absolute losers. And that's the end. No, I'm kidding. Welcome to another college football podcast. If you love talking college football, even when you have to talk about your rival, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. It is free. And if you like what I'm doing, even if you hate the look on my face and you're a Gamecock fan, hope you'll pass this along to your forum so they can at least subscribe and make fun of me and drive my numbers up. Anyway, let's dive into the Gamecocks. With the orange and white shirt that I'm wearing, you know my feelings about the Gamecocks, but I am going to try to be as fair as I can and leave as much of the rivalry, I won't say out of this, but to the side. The Gamecocks had a good season last year. This is a team who has struggled in football. They had the Spurrier years. There was some really good moments there. And that's about it. I mean, George Rogers not going to take away from him. And they've had some good players. Sterling Sharp, there's that. But Shane Beamer took over a team that historically has struggled in football. I respect Shane Beamer for what he's done. This guy came into a situation that was not the easiest. He was taken over for Will Muschamp. Muschamp came from Florida. We know what happened there. And Shane Beamer comes in and he takes over a situation that a lot of people maybe wouldn't have taken on the challenge. But he's going into his fifth season. In his first 2 years, he had winning records. In 2023, he had a 5-7 record. Last year, he went 9-4. Now, here's the interesting part about the Gamecocks. They started off the year kind of decent, but they ended as one of the hottest teams in the country. Unfortunately, they beat my Clemson Tigers. So there you go, Gamecock fans. I had to say it. Everyone knows about Lenoris Sellers. We'll get into him in just a second. But one of the key losses for them this year, one of the key losses for the South Carolina Gamecocks is their offensive coordinator, Dowell Loggins. Now, this guy, he and Lenoris Sellers, they had a really good chemistry. And unfortunately for my Tigers, they found out about said chemistry. Dowell Loggins is now the head coach at Appalachian State. And I believe that's going to be a point of emphasis on this season. For someone who's on the outside, or maybe you're a massive Gamecock fan, you're going to have to pay attention to Mike Shula running the offense now. Before I dive into the talent that South Carolina loses, I will say this. Us Clemson fans know very well how changing coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, how it can change everything, no matter if you have the same head coach, no matter if you have the same players. So I'm keeping my eyes on the relationship between Lenoris Sellers and Mike Shula, and actually how he actually coaches the game. Maybe he and Dowell Loggins have the same approach, but remember, they're different individuals. Different individuals will approach things differently. So maybe he will not make the adjustments that Dowell Loggins makes, but that to me is one of the biggest losses of this entire season for the Gamecocks. Now, I mentioned just a moment ago that the Gamecocks lost a lot of talent. Now, I'm going to move through this really, really quick. They lost Rocket Sanders. He was a transfer in last year, rushed for over 800 yards. This guy was really talented, had 11 touchdowns, the leading rusher for the team. He's gone. Let's go on down to wide receivers. You got Joshua Simon. Overlooked Juju McDowell. He's gone. Dalvin Campbell is gone. He's out the door. Let's go over to the defense. Now, they lost some really good defensive players. Nick Emanwari, the guy who had 4 interceptions, leading tackler, he's gone. Demetrius Knight, gone. Bound Martin Scott, gone. Debo Williams, TJ Sanders, O'Donnell Fortune, Tonka Hemingway, Kyle Kennard, all gone. So is it Kennard or Kennard? Forgive me. But they lost a lot of talent when it comes to the defense. And oh, by the way, they lost like 3 offensive linemen. Let's talk about who they have coming back for this season. Everyone knows Lenore Sellers, one of the premier quarterbacks in college football. I'll never forget watching him in his first spring practice. You'll be shocked how much Gamecock football I see, because I want to know my rival. I want to know if they're worth a crap. Also, my oldest is a Gamecock, thanks to his grandfather, who is probably watching this. So Lenore Sellers, when I watched him in his very first spring practice, I went, and it was spring game actually, which is a glorified practice, but I was like, this guy, he has a lot of the right tools. He's 6'3", over 240 pounds. And the guy is just, he's just a machine, and he is the type of guy you will win games just because of him. They did bring in Ohio State transfer Aaron Nolan. He was a highly recruited quarterback coming out of high school. He had his true freshman year last year. Ohio State transferred over. Luke Cadoti, who's been there forever, he's back. And of course, they signed Cutter Woods out of West Side in Anderson, South Carolina. I want to move through this a little quicker. Mazio Bennett, this guy's a sophomore. He did get injured last year, but this guy, he has a lot of talent. He's coming back, 5'10", 185. And of course, Nick Harbor with Olympic speed at 6'5". Is a guy that they're going to have to get the ball to more. If you have a weapon like this, you have to find ways to get the ball to him. And, as a Clemson fan, if you don't want to use him against us, be my guest. But I think that once you get this guy, who, by the way, just posted up an Alabama defensive back in Tuscaloosa last year and just took him, scored a touchdown there. The guy has a lot of talent. Let's get over to the defensive side of the ball, who's returning. Dylan Stewart, a guy who's a projected first-round pick whenever he can go. The guy's just ridiculous, 6'6", 245. He's a machine. Brandon Cisse, the transfer out of NC State, played last year, had a really good season for them. Jalen Kilgore is a talented player. Judge Collier, that cat, he can play. DQ Smith, you have him. I think he's a returning starter, so forgive me if I have that wrong. So we're going to take a look at the schedule here, and we're just going to blast through it. Of course, they have a ridiculously difficult schedule. One of the toughest in the SEC. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at their schedule. They're going to kick off the season against Virginia Tech. Now, this is not a Virginia Tech team that has Michael Vick or anything like Shane Beamer's dad had. This is a struggling Virginia Tech team. They most likely will fire their coach at the end of the season unless something changes. I see you winning that game in Atlanta. I think that this is a winnable game for you. Let's move on down. South Carolina State, you're going to play them. They're only a few miles from home, so to speak. You will beat them. Vanderbilt had a really good story last year, but everyone knows Diego Pavia. Everyone knows that they're trying to run back the success they had last year. I believe you win this game. Next up, you play Missouri. You're in Columbia, Missouri. This team's kind of hard to figure out, especially with some of their losses over the past season or so. That were really, really hot. Eli Drinkwitz can coach. This is a toss-up to me, but I'm going to be a good neighbor and say that I lean towards you could pull this game out and win it. It's just really getting that identity on the offense, other than Lenore Sellers, really pulling everything together and using some of the players that you've recruited in, and then some of the players that you've got from the transfer portal. Utah State running back, you've brought him in. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. Just see if you can get your feet under you offensively, and if you do, I believe you win this game against Missouri. Kentucky's coming into Columbia. They're one of the seller teams of the SEC. I think you win this game, and if you don't, I don't know why. LSU, you're going to Baton Rouge. LSU has a ton of returning starters on both sides of the ball, as well as transfer players coming in. This team has a lot of high hopes. And your loss to them last year was with a few questionable calls by the officiating crew. I think it, as a Clemson fan, I'm even saying this, I think it cost you the game. I think you beat LSU. Or no, I don't think you beat LSU. You should have beat LSU last year, but I think that they get this game. So that'd be loss number one for you. Let's say if you play Oklahoma, a team it has to come to Columbia. I really don't know how to gauge Oklahoma's talent and their ability. They do have talent. They do have Brent Venables, but the seat is getting hot, and it just seems like he took over a bad situation. You murdered them last year. They come to Columbia this year. This is a little bit of a toss-up game, but I'm going to lean towards the Gamecocks winning this one. Alabama comes to town. This is not your regular Alabama team. I see. I mean, they just still have so much talent. I feel like Alabama will take this game in Columbia. Next up, you go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that hits the transfer portal really hard. Lane Kiffin can coach with the best of them. And if my memory serves me correct, last year you had a really difficult time in this game. And I'm looking at the score from last year. I think that was your worst loss. You lost 27-3. This year, I think they come in. I think this game Ole Miss will definitely get. You play Texas A&M. You have to go to College Station. This is a team that's still being put together by Mike Elko. I see that this is what I keep coming back to, Gamecock fans. Love me or hate me because of what I'm wearing, who I pull for, but I'm just talking pure football here. If Mike Shula calls and strategizes a game plan a lot like Dowell Loggins, this is very much a winnable game, and not only this one, but a lot of the games you play this year. But if you're struggling offensively and the play calling is questionable, and everyone's stacking the box, just going after Lenore Sellers, and at this level of football, they can take him out of the game in the sense of just controlling him. This season could be a long season. On the other hand, if you get things going, you can win a lot of games. Texas A&M's more of a toss-up to me, but I'm going to lean towards the Aggies taking this one. Let's look at Coastal Carolina. This is not the 2020 Jamie Chadwell, Isaiah Likely, McCall team. This is a team that they're probably warming up the seat with their head coach. They come to Columbia. You play them, and I think you beat them definitely. By the way, they do have a really good quarterback they got out of the transfer portal, but you have to have more than a quarterback on a team. And then the last game, but not least, 12 o'clock. I really don't like a 12 o'clock kickoff for Clemson and South Carolina. I think it's bad for the rivalry. And if South Carolina were to win some games this year that I've named as toss-ups, this game could be one of the marquee games of that post-Thanksgiving weekend, when Texas A&M and Texas are playing Ohio State and Michigan and so on. This could be a marquee game. I just really don't like 12 p.m. I don't know who set that time. I don't care if they're a Clemson Tiger or not. I just don't like that time. I'd rather a 3:30 game. I'd rather a 7 or 8 o'clock game. Clemson has a lot this year. The big key for me as a Clemson fan is, will they use the talent that they have, and will they allow the coaches who they've brought on to do their thing? I feel like Clemson has this game, even though it's in Columbia. But here's the deal. It's a rivalry. South Carolina's played very well over the past few years because of Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer, I have a lot of respect for. He can coach very well. But I'm leaning towards my Clemson Tigers. Okay, I'm saying my Clemson Tigers will win that game this year. So let's go through the losses that I referenced. I see LSU as a loss. See Alabama as a loss. Ole Miss as a loss. Texas A&M as a potential loss, and Clemson as a loss. So there's 5 games. Let's go over the games that I could see you actually winning out of these 5 games. I see you pulling it together against Ole Miss and maybe getting some revenge. I know you played very well against Alabama. If things starts to go south for them, you may be able to get them in Columbia. Texas A&M, I see that as a game that if you pull it together, you could definitely win that game. So, I'm looking your best record this year. I'm looking at 9-3. Worst record, you have 5 losses, and you go 7-5. With that schedule and with the change at offensive coordinator, and then losing some of the experienced talent that you have across the board, I think 7-5 would be something that you can hang your hat on and actually not kill Shane Beamer over. Okay, normally I do these previews in 10 minutes. This is rivalry. I went over 15. Let me know, who did I miss? Who are the players to look forward to or keep an eye out for on the South Carolina side? What games do you think that I missed? Did you think I missed all of them? Then you're going to win the national championship. What games should I pay a little more attention to? Are you concerned with the hiring of Mike Shula? Or do you think Lenore Sellers is just going to even it out? I think he's going to have a good season either way because he's a really good quarterback. So anyway, y'all take care of yourself. I hope you'll